Well, next, the contaminated blood, a public inquiry to investigate what's widely regarded as the worst treatment tragedy in the history of the NHS has finished hearing evidence in Yorkshire.
For the last fortnight, family members and victims have spoken out about the human cost of the scandal at a hotel in Leeds.
In a minute, we'll be speaking to Sarah Dorricott, who gave evidence today about her father who died after being contaminated with hepatitis C. But first, here's a roundup of the last fortnight.
For the last 2 weeks, victims have travelled to Leeds, some still alive and able to give their evidence in person. Others bereaved family members, speaking on behalf of those they've lost.
The evidence I shall give
shall be the truth.
Sue from Sheffield was contaminated with hepatitis C when she was 26. She only found out by accident 30 years later when she tried to move abroad.
I felt so dirty. I didn't want anybody to touch me in case I made them dirty.
Take the book in your raised hand.
Others, like the Dorricott family from Leeds, spoke of the pain of losing their father.
Sarah and I should not have to lose our father at such a young age. We should not have to explain to our children why they've not got a grandfather. We should not have to walk down the aisle without him.
One theme was common. Like Darren from Hull, the emotional and physical impact for many was almost too hard to bear.
Can you tell us what the effect on you was of that appointment, on your mental health?
I tried ending my life.
It's stories like this that led to the scandal being called the worst treatment disaster of the NHS. Between the 1970s and 1990s, the blood product factor 8 was given to thousands of people, but it had been taken from high-risk donors. Almost 5,000 people were infected with HIV and hepatitis. Nearly 3,000 have died. Now, after years of campaigning, both those infected and affected hope they will finally get justice.
This contaminated blood and contaminated blood products is a scandal that's been pushed under the carpet for years and years, for decades. It absolutely has to come out who is responsible and why, and they need to go to prison for it.
But it could be up to 3 years until those answers are published. For now, the inquiry is set to move to Scotland as it continues to investigate why so many people were infected and what went wrong.
Well, we heard from Sarah Dorricott in Catherine's report, and Sarah joins us now. Sarah, you've waited many years for this inquiry. It must have been very emotional for you today when you gave evidence.
Yeah, when you're talking about your family history and how it's affected you, your father's sickness and being in hospital, it can be quite emotional, and it surely was emotional for us today.
Mm-hmm. What did you actually say today? What did you tell them?
I told them about how it's affected family life. My dad, when he was infected with hepatitis C, how the treatments affected him mentally, and living with a father who's in and out of hospital for most of your life.
It's very unbelievably traumatic. I mean, Jeremy Hunt, he was your father's local MP. He was so moved by your father's story that he said that it was his instigation to actually get this public inquiry off the ground. How do you feel? What are your comments towards that?
I think it's a combination of things. I think campaigners have been working for this for many, many years. I think Diana Johnson also had quite an impact in getting us somewhere towards having a public inquiry. But my thoughts towards Jeremy Hunt is he hasn't fulfilled a promise that he made to my father many years ago. They were on a first-name basis, they talked quite regularly, and he invited my father to Westminster to talk about what would be a full and final settlement for victims. My dad had just said that he was terminal.
What are your thoughts? Sorry, what are your thoughts about what you've heard over the last couple of weeks at the inquiry?
My thoughts are that it's harrowing. Some of these people's stories are absolutely harrowing, and it takes a lot of strength to talk about it in front of a room full of people. And the support that we've had today has just been so humbling, and I'm very grateful for that.
I mean, emotionally so draining, not just the last couple of weeks and today, the whole story. What personally would you like to see come out of all of this, Sarah?
I want to get justice for my dad. He was an avid campaigner as well, and he wanted to find out what went wrong, who gave permission for this nasty factor 8 blood product to be in the system, and he wanted to know why he was treated as a guinea pig, and I want to know if this is ever going to happen again or if it's still happening now.
Would this give you closure, though, if you do have an outcome that is to your satisfaction? Would it give you some closure?
I think it would take me some way towards closure, yeah.
OK, Sarah, well, thanks very much indeed for coming in to talk to us about it. Thank you.
We really appreciate it. Thank you.